Well, it certainly does look like we're racing ever so closer to a technocratic digital prison planet, as some warn that this is all a part of the plan that's being carried out and executed right now. Is that exactly what's going on? In yesterday's video, we talked about the big high probability of a cyber polygon infrastructure digital attack on everything that would reset the global world order, as there's some very interesting admissions here from the BlackRock CEO, Larry Fink, that literally was talking about tokenizing everything, as Donald Trump talked about a state-of-the-art cryptocurrency framework. What's really going on here is, of course, some tech elites want to make sure that citizens are on their best behavior. And I think this conversation is absolutely worth talking about, specifically when it comes to a government whistleblower, Catherine Austin Fitts, that used to be at the helm of power under the Bush administration, that now is speaking out against what she thinks is actually happening right now, and it resonates with a lot of people. We're going to go deep down the rabbit hole, specifically with this particular topic, as we still have some kind of online voice and ability to reach you. And if you want to keep it that way for the foreseeable, short future, subscribe, click the notification button, as of course we greatly appreciate all the people that subscribe and click the notification button. Now, it looks like the previous video I just did was talking about how America is on a war footing, asking major car manufacturers to help produce weapons now, highlighting how many other countries are preparing for this, as well as preparing for what some people believe to be a manufactured crisis that's going to be the coup 2.0 brought back once again. That's going to bring on an economic collapse. That's going to bring on a central bank digital currency. As right now, the U.S. government is spending a lot of money. We're $2 trillion in a deficit, and we're going to be spending more money now on defense and cutting domestic programs, as a lot of people are saying the new type of tech that's being built here is the surveillance tech by the Pentagon, not just munitions, but also robots, AI, data centers that are building what a lot of people believe to be this high-tech digital prison that's being constructed all around us under the guise of convenience, security, and sustainability, all these keywords that these globalists love here. I just saw this video in my Twitter timeline feed, and I thought it was interesting.
Facial recognition will be used to unlock your digital identity, which is going to be a tool of control for the agendas that are coming down the pipeline.
Elements of that control are already with us.
Alexa, good morning. Good morning.
You are never alone in your home, and this is why. All your devices at home and all smart appliances, they are all connected on a wireless network. Many of these devices will have cameras, many will have microphones, and so they are monitoring everything all the time. Your smart appliances are communicating with the smart meter and sending it real.
Someone came into my house recently, and they're like, we want to install the smart meter. I'm like, get out of here. Like, you're going to face a fine. Which is ridiculous. It's like, wait, I don't want the smart meter, and I'm getting fined because I'm not getting the smart meter. Whatever. But obviously, it's being implemented everywhere. It's not smart. It's one that is able to get all of the data and information about you.
Real-time usage data. If there's a Ring camera also in your home, a mesh network is formed.
Yeah, the Ring camera's like, we could help you find your lost dog with a hive mind surveillance system. And everyone's like, wait, what? You just admitted that you're doing secret surveillance programs to find lost puppies? Get the hell out of here. As Ring faced a lot of backlash over their Super Bowl ad. Being like, yeah, get Ring. We'll use everyone's Ring cameras to find stuff. And people are like, I didn't sign up for that. I just want a camera at my door. That's why it's cheap and it's affordable. Why? Because the data is what they're harvesting from you.
And all your devices are being tracked within the home, its location, its usage, and all the data is going to Amazon servers. When you leave your home, all modern vehicles are connected to the internet. So your automobile...
Yep, and they have cameras there. They have facial recognition systems there. And then, of course, this is how the control grid is going to be kind of implemented here, as we're putting everything online all at the same time. Klaus Schwab, Sam Altman, Klaus Schwab throughout the years, are all warning about a world-shaking cyber attack. You know, maybe we shouldn't be uploading everything. Maybe we shouldn't have facial recognition cameras at TSA. Maybe we shouldn't be collecting people's DNA when they're entering America. Maybe, you know, we just don't upload everything. I remember like getting questioned, like, why don't you want to take your facial recognition at like U.S. passport control? And I'm like, you guys lose the data. Like, governments get hacked all the time, and your systems aren't secure, right? And it's like, yeah, you want more information about me? I'm okay. I'm not going to give it to you, right? As right now we are facing very existential type of crazy, wild scenarios, specifically when it comes to energy. As of course, a lot of the same kind of woke globalist people were using the woke diversity doctrine to beat us over the head with it. That now was a very useful tool for them, but they dropped the tool. They're using a different tool right now, right? And it's one that a lot of people accuse Donald Trump of implementing. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of some of these accusations. Steelman, straw man them. As of course, this clip with Larry Fink is going viral right now. Before playing this clip and talking about the larger kind of thesis here of what Catherine Austin Fitts has to say, which I think is important, we just really quickly wanted to tell you about WeAreChange.shop. We got a lot of great, incredible, amazing supplements. Magnesium glycinate is one of them. I like to take it with the last meal of the day. I have a really great sleep score. My sleep score from last night, look at this bad boy, 90. Last day was 98. Today it is 92. Really proud of it. Magnesium glycinate has helped me. Lots of people are deficient in magnesium glycinate, and it helps you deal also with high cortisol, right? So I just saw this post here talking about how do you deal with high cortisol, which tanks your testosterone, gives you belly fat, shrinks your brain. Cortisol is awful. That's why we also have ashwagandha. That's really good at lowering cortisol that you have to cycle on and off here. And in this post, they talk about saunas, big fan of that. Eating real food, yeah, big fan of that. Improving my sleep, super big on that. And then before is magnesium glycinate, as it has been shown to lower cortisol by calming down your nervous system at the cellular level. Less cortisol means better sleep, less belly fat, faster recovery. Most people are deficient and don't even know it.
There's a big reason why I recommend magnesium glycinate for anxiety and stress.
Yeah, again, check it out. WeAreChange.shop. Support yourself, support us at the same time, and get rid of that stress in your life, because there definitely seems like there's going to be a lot of it coming up. Anyway, here's the clip that right now is going viral, right? As Larry Fink is literally talking about tokenizing everything.
I would say the biggest question from central banks is, what is the role of tokenization and digitization? How quickly should they think about digitizing their own currency? What does that mean for the role of the dollar? If every currency digitizes and we have, what does that mean for bank payments? What does that mean for the payment companies like MasterCard and Visa? All these are being questioned right now. I think we spend so much time talking about AI. We're not spending enough time talking about how quickly we're going to tokenize every financial asset, and the opportunity we're going to have a digital wallet and moving, ETFs and other things through a digital wallet.
Yeah, digital, your national identification system that Trump just put in place, connected to your online internet ID, which of course Europe is now placing and establishing in order to protect the children, which he just implemented in Australia. It's kind of weird and crazy how all these countries are doing the same exact things at different levels, right? And of course, that's what's kind of slowly coming here to America.
And I think that's going to happen worldwide very rapidly. And I think most countries are ill-prepared for that and underappreciate how technology is changing that. Not unlike how technology is changing AI and other things. It will be changing the technology around the plumbing of finance.
Yeah, the plumbing of finance, as the whole financial system is rigged, and the elites are just using it to benefit and harvest wealth for themselves, while, of course, everyone else is left with kind of breadcrumbs. The stock market controlled just by a small percentage of individuals that control the vast majority of it. As of course, people are like, look at the stock market. I'm like, that doesn't represent the real kind of economy here, right? Now, Donald Trump, April 8th, 2026, literally talked about how the current financial system is, quote, outdated and soon will be replaced with the state-of-the-art cryptocurrency framework. What can you do with cryptocurrencies? You could tokenize stuff, right? But also, you see everything. It's not like cash. There's some cryptocurrencies that have some kind of anonymity, but there's only certain layers of it, especially when it comes to a lot of people's ability to try to fight against that. A lot of people believe it's an uphill battle. A lot of people believe it's the most important battle. But listen, when we're talking about tokenizing everything, when we were talking about everything developing and building and growing and expanding just like it is right now, a lot of this has to do with the centralization of data. Data is the new oil. A lot of these tech oligarchs, all over our stock market pretty much is all these like big tech companies trading money with each other. And it's like, oh, really? Some people call it a bubble. Who knows? But we had Larry Ellison at the World Government Summit in 2025 literally talk about how citizens will be on their best behavior because, quote, we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on, as Donald Trump is literally saying, give up your rights and privileges for our military. That is becoming more technocratic and advanced than ever, right? As listen, they understood the woke stuff, isolated a bunch of stuff. It worked when it did work. It created a lot of injustices, specifically about the current kind of middle worker class people, especially in rural areas. Now they had to adapt, as Larry Fink even acknowledged. Hey, we lost public trust. That's why they're moving to a new system that some people accuse Donald Trump of implementing here. As of course, Catherine Austin Fitts, who we interviewed before, talked about how the kind of banking elite class is using Trump to implement this kind of infrastructure. This is what she had to say, which I think is of utmost importance.
I think Trump is entirely expendable. The bankers put him in to get the control grid, and he's done an A+ job of building it and persuading people to go along with it in high speed.
Yep, people are like, no, we need the national ID. It's going to fight immigration. As Donald Trump is now bowing down to big business and be like, oh yeah, foreign workers, come on in. What? Are you kidding me? It's not H-1Bs. It was another specific program that I remember debating people about on a podcast that I talked on recently. It's the H-2B program, right? With agricultural seasonal workers. Come on in.
And the conservatives, it's a uniparty. If you look at how that system works, every year the federal government has $6 trillion of expenses and $4 trillion of revenues. And that means $2 trillion comes from...
There's a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. There's so much of waste, fraud, and abuse. $2 trillion just in the hole every year. And we're just printing that money. We're borrowing that money. I mean, there's only a certain extent to where, my goodness, we have to cut government spending dramatically.
The central banking money machine. And so that's what controls. And the question is, how do you market and sell to the population the things you want to do? And so I think Trump, and I said this in 2024, was chosen by the New York Fed member bankers to basically get the control grid. His job was to persuade. So let's look at the control grid. There are 3 general baskets of what you need to do. The first is programmable money. The second is digital ID. To do programmable money, you require digital ID. And then the third is you need the hardware and the software infrastructure to do the social credit system and surveillance that you need to do those 2 things. And so you need all the data centers is the big one, but you also need
and we're rolling out the red carpet. As soon as Trump got elected, he was like, well, I think it was like Project Stargate. We're building all these data centers. And I'm like, oh, crap. We're going to take Greenland to build the data centers. We haven't taken Greenland yet. Now we're kind of busy with another kind of side mission here in Iran.
Surveillance infrastructure and enforcement infrastructure to back it. So how do you persuade conservatives and people in the heartland to embrace building that infrastructure? The way you do it is you say, oh, we have election fraud, or, oh, we have an immigration problem. And so we need a digital ID to identify who everybody is so we can't have fraud. Now, remember, we had borders and elections before digital technology. So it's a bunch of hooey, but.
Yep, that's true. It's as David Icke calls it, they create the problem. All right. One hand, just like makes it a mess. The second hand's like clean it. But in reality, they all are working together against you. Problem, reaction, solution, part of the Hegelian dialectic, which of course is meant to kind of lull you in and be like, oh, but this hand did something bad. We need to give up more power and authority for the right hand to do. And it's like, it's the same person, bro. It's just left and right. It's just the same bird, two different wings.
It works. And, oh, we need to put together a private army called ICE with detention centers all over the country who are free to enforce without constitutional protections in violation of the law to get these hardened criminal immigrants out. But in fact, it's not to get the hardened immigrants out. It's to manage the control grid and do what you have to do when people get antsy once they see how it's working and how it comes together.
Now, people are getting antsy. We did a video about this yesterday, specifically talking about all the factories burning down. People comparing themselves to Luigi Mangione doing that. The many attacks on Sam Altman. Again, violence is not the answer, right? I think there's going to be psyops and potential false flags to promote and push for more violence, which would allow the government to, again, clamp down and destroy everything. And again, I just don't believe violence will ever be the solution here, because it's a tool of the state that they have mastered, and using it is futile.
So, so Trump has done, once he got the big, beautiful bill and the funding and precedent going for data centers, if you look at everything he's done to build the control grid or to put the conditions in place to do it, they now have what they need. Trump is basically expendable now.
Yeah.
Will he be expended? I don't know. As right now, he's pushing for mass surveillance without warrants in the Fourth Amendment. As Donald Trump previously came out, spoke out against FISA. Now, he's talking about how he's working with everyone, getting members of Congress, spending a lot of his political time and capital implementing FISA 702 warrantless spying that has been handed over to even foreign governments. As he literally said, I'm willing to risk, and this is very anti-American. It's against liberty, right? It's against what made this country great and what this country stands for. I am willing to risk the giving up of my rights and privileges as a citizen. I am not. That's not what I want. That's not what I signed up for. As Liam McCollum says, this is highlighting us how the American people are being seen and treated as enemies. You are guilty. You're not innocent before proven guilty. You're guilty. We're just going to spy on you. We're going to watch you. Tucker Carlson talked about how this kind of mass NSA surveillance program literally is being handed over to foreign governments.
One comes from the documents unearthed and made public, God bless him, by Ed Snowden some years ago that showed that NSA, the National Security Agency, the largest of all of our spy agencies, turned over raw data to, can you guess? Oh, the Israeli government, that included private information about Americans. So they sweep up all this information, the comms, the communications of American citizens.
There's also the Five Eyes Treaty, which is also wild, and they do that with a lot of other governments like the UK and Australian government, where it's like, oh yeah, you can't spy on American citizens? Well, the Australian government can.
And they just turn it all over without taking private information about Americans, our citizens, is turned over to a foreign government and its intel service to be used God knows how.
Huh. That's really interesting here. As of course, Cat's Turd even came out. Now, he released this statement in 2024 saying, make no mistake, they want this so they can spy on their political opponents and try to find crimes of citizens they disagree with politically. Anyone who votes to renew FISA is commie scum. I didn't say it. Cat Turd said it. As of course, he was retweeting MTG, who was talking about how she was strongly against renewing FISA. As now, Donald Trump wants to renew FISA. Charlie Kirk, when he was still alive during this debate, 2024, was saying this about it.
What happened? What would cause somebody to flip from fighting hard in a committee to all of a sudden having the deciding vote as speaker? Was he an imposter all along?
I'm coming to that conclusion.
This is Mike Johnson, who voted for FISA.
I don't think his family's locked up in the basement somewhere, being tortured. Those claims are ridiculous. I don't even believe that he went in a skiff and learned something that we don't know, because I spent 3.5 hours in the skiff with Mike Johnson. Remember, I'm on the Judiciary Committee, And I got the same briefing he got from CIA,
He was like, I'm against FISA. And then he had a private meeting. He was like, I'm for FISA. Really? What does FISA do? Collects all the data on you. All right? And then what's going to happen next after all that data is found on you? It gets built into the AI data centers. AI data centers that know everything about you. As of course, we're building a super intelligence that's going to be smarter than us. Nothing to worry about here. Yeah, right. Come on. Really? This thing's crazy. I think it needs a lot of attention. I think we got to be careful of the present grid planet being built all around us. We need to speak out against it peacefully. If you agree, share this video. Thank you so much for supporting us on wearechange.shop, getting the magnesium glycinate. I'm going to be here for you guys doing that, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/weare.